how many calories you need to bulk, the perfect surplus. My name is Josh, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to find the perfect caloric surplus to eat during your bulk. If you're not familiar with what a caloric surplus is, it just means eating more than your body burns daily. In this video, I'm also going to tackle the common myth that more food equals more muscle. My goal is to provide an extremely simple and beginner-friendly guide to finding the perfect surplus. So when it comes to building muscle, there are two pillars that you really need to focus on, which is your training and your nutrition. You can think of training as the stimulus that allows calories to fuel muscle growth. You should know that a calorie is simply a unit to measure energy, and there are three main energy balances that you need to understand. First is a deficit, which means that you're eating less than your body burns daily, resulting in weight loss. Second is maintenance, which means that you eat exactly how many calories it takes to maintain your weight. And third is a surplus, which means that you're eating more than your body burns daily, resulting in weight gain. So why choose a surplus as opposed to eating somewhere around maintenance calories? The truth is, it is still possible to gain muscle at maintenance calories, but in order to maximize those gains, you're going to want to eat at a slight to moderate surplus. But calories are not the only thing you have to keep track of. The quality and quantity of your calories and where they come from is extremely important. And there are three macronutrients that make up your total daily calories, those being protein, carbs, and fats. All three of these macronutrients are extremely important, and you cannot neglect a single one. You can think of protein as what allows your body to build and repair itself. Carbs are best understood as energy, and fats are extremely important to regulating your hormones. There are a lot of diets that cut out either carbs or fats, but what I recommend is finding a moderate amount that works for you. So now that you understand what calories and macronutrients are, you're going to need to estimate your calories. And this all begins with your maintenance calories. Understanding your maintenance calories allows us to have a baseline so we can choose the right surplus. For an extremely rough calculation of your maintenance calories, you can take your body weight times 16.5. Alternatively, you can use an online calculator such as the one I linked in the description. But remember that any of these methods can be off by a few hundred calories. But having a rough estimation will allow us to use trial and error to find our actual true maintenance. So using this number, I want you to eat exactly that many calories for an entire week, tracking your weight every single day. By the end of this week, if you've lost weight, you know that you're below your maintenance calories. And if your weight has stayed the same, you know that you're already at your maintenance calories. So now that we know our maintenance calories, we can get into the fun part, choosing our surplus. Ideally, you want to gain 0.25 to 5% of your body weight weekly. So for a 200-pound person, that's gaining 0.5 to 1 pound per week. So how many calories should we add to our maintenance to achieve this goal? Around 250 calories of surplus will result in a half a pound per week, and a 500 calorie surplus will result in 1 pound gain per week. Personally, I aim for 1 pound of gain per week, but as long as it's above 0.5, I'm happy. If you're a complete beginner and very skinny, it might be even worth to do a dirty bulk. This would mean gaining almost 2 pounds per week with a 1,000 calorie surplus. You would not do this forever, but since you're so skinny, this increase in calories and the weight training will allow on better nutrient partitioning, which just means that your calories will be going towards muscle gain rather being stored as fat. So on to macronutrients. The first one we'll discuss is protein. Like I said before, protein is what allows our body to build and repair itself. So when calculating protein, it's recommended to eat 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Again, I like to be on the higher end, so for me, I'm eating around 180 grams of protein per day. The next macronutrients I want you to calculate is fat. I want you to take your new maintenance calories plus your surplus and multiply it by 30%. This is going to tell us roughly how many calories need to come from fat per day. With this number, you can divide it by 9. This leaves us with how many grams of fat we should eat every single day. And if you're wondering why I divided it by 9, every single macronutrient has a calorie that is associated with. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, and 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. So now that we know our protein and fats, the rest of your calories can be made up with carbs. And from this point, I want you to follow this for an entire week just to make sure that your surplus is correct. And moving forward, the things you need to keep track of are your calories and your ratio of carbs to fats. You're going to want to make sure that you're hitting your rate of growth goal every single week. So say there's a week I only gained 0.7 of a pound, I might add in an extra 1 to 200 calories. And when it comes to your ratio of fats to carbs, move them around to find what works best for you. Some weeks I like to have higher fats to make my meals more calorie dense. Other weeks, I like to have higher carbs to give myself more energy. So now that we know our calories, macros, and surplus, we need to know what foods to eat. And when we're on a bulk, I recommend calorie-dense whole foods. So for protein, this might be something like 80-20 ground beef, chicken thighs, and salmon. Other great sources of protein are dairy and eggs. Things like whole milk, Greek yogurt, and cheese can be a cheat code while you're bulking. My go-to for carbs are rice, sweet potatoes, and sourdough bread. I also like to throw in some calorie-dense fruits like bananas, mangoes, and dates. And in order to bump the calories up for each meal, you might include some extra fat sources, such as butter, olive oil, nuts, and nut butters. Don't neglect micronutrients and include either a portion of fruit or vegetables in every single meal. And another quick tip to make eating in a surplus even easier is liquid calories. Either post-workout or at the end of the night, I like to have a 1,000-calorie shake with 80 grams of protein. The recipe is in the description. Now, most of your diet should be made up of these whole food sources, but don't be afraid of junk food. Things like pizza, cheeseburgers, and sushi are very calorie dense and help to hit my daily calorie goal. So here are the key takeaways when creating a surplus for bulking. Remember, you can build muscle at maintenance, but you won't grow nearly as much as on a surplus. And before you even consider a surplus, you need to find your maintenance calories first. Aim for a surplus of between 250 calories and 500 calories per week. And for very skinny beginners, a surplus of up to 1,000 calories may be beneficial. And make sure to adjust your calories accordingly based on how your weight changes. Train consistently or else all those extra calories will be stored as fat, and you don't want that. Remember, patience and consistency are key, and muscle building takes time. Drop any questions you have about bulking in the comments, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.